Hi, everyone. This is Peter Kraut of Silver Stock Investor. We are doing a new edition of the Pay Dirt podcast, and today we have a very special guest, Joaquin Marias, who is a project geologist with the Frank Giustra Fiord Group. Joaquin, really, I'm excited. You've got some really interesting and exciting news for us today. But before we get to all of that, I want to thank you for taking some time out of your busy schedule to chat with us today. You and I have spent some time talking at different conferences where we connected. We've talked about the work that you do. We've talked about all sorts of things, economics, politics, and I have a feeling some of that's going to come into today's conversation with you. So again, thanks for taking some time. Why don't we
Thank you.
start with having you tell us a little bit about yourself, give us some of your background, and tell us what some of your responsibilities are today.
Great. Thank you very much, Peter, first of all, for the interview, and I really appreciate your time. I'm a geologist, as you mentioned. I'm originally from Argentina. I have been working in different countries and in probably three at least or four continents. So my background and expertise is mostly in exploration related to precious metals and base metals. And I have been working here with the Fiore Group for the last 2 years, almost 3 years now, helping the group to find new opportunities. I have also been working here in Canada with Dolivard and Silver, who have a project in the Golden Triangle. And as I said, helping here in the group, trying to find new assets. And that's how we found this incredible opportunity in Argentina that we will be talking very soon about it.
You bet. Okay, so you mentioned Argentina. So you yourself are from Argentina. That's something that you and I have chatted about before. There's a lot to talk about there. We could get into all kinds of things, and maybe for fun we could do that on another podcast. But today we're going to focus a little bit on really what's developing and I think interesting for viewers. Before we get quite to that, because of your experience or background, your heritage, tell us a little bit about Argentina. Provide us some color on what's going on. And I want to mention quickly also that the country of Argentina is named for silver. So that's a little clue to tease everyone right now. And Argentina, if anyone's following, it's been through challenges for as much as I'm going to say decades. On the politics side, on the economy side, give us a little background on that and where things stand now.
Okay, so you point out something that it's very interesting. Some people sometimes don't even know that, and it's that the name Argentina is coming from the Latin word argentum, which means silver. That's why the symbol of silver is Ag, right? So I will make a brief note about this. During the colonial time, the Spanish conquistadores, they were extracting silver mostly from the south of Bolivia and the north of Argentina. So the shortest way for them to take that silver out of the continent and flip it or ship it to Spain was transporting the silver down south through the Argentine territory, or what was going to become Argentina. And they were transporting that silver to the rivers that are on the eastern side of the country, that are big, big rivers. And they were dropping these treasures on ships, and they were coming out through a very, very wide river that was full of ships with silver on top. There was so much silver on those boats on that river that the river got the name of Rio de la Plata, which means the river of the silver. That's the widest river on the world. And after some time, when the country was taking shape or being formed, becoming independent, is when people decide to use, as everybody was knowing, the land that was the land of silver, and that's how we acquired the name of Argentina. So yeah, it's true. Along the history, Argentina has been going through many different things. There have been over 9 dictatorships in the country. You know that the Peron era was an infamous era where things start to get very dark. That ended up with a very, very bad dictatorship. And after many years of struggling, the country has been getting worse and worse and worse in economical sense. Also in the let's say that the social feeling, the feeling in between the population has been a feeling of even kind of rejection of the situation, right? So some older generations, they were kind of you know used to what was going on, or there was like no solution on the future. After 20 years of Kirchner family ruling the country, uh, this regular man out of nowhere comes out. It's the typical Argentine guy. He wakes up every morning to struggle with day-to-day problems. He goes to work as everybody else, and he's facing the same issues as everybody. He's an economist. He start talking in TV shows. He start to become the economist with the highest rating. That's Javier Milei coming out. So all these younger generations from the 2000s and maybe a bit before, they like this character because he's giving hope to the young generations. We are looking and watching how the promises that he have made are materializing day by day. He has increased the reserves of the central bank by 25%. He has voted or he achieved the vote of over 300 different articles inside of what we call an omnibus law to change the basis of the country. Well, now we are looking at a lot of foreign direct investment coming into the country. So there are plenty of things that we think that are changing in matters of politics into the country. So yesterday he was approving the national budget. He was in discussions about the national budget, and he gave a historical speech again. I think that every time that he's speaking, he's giving historical speeches. So Javier Milei yesterday made a speech confirming his commitment with the country, showing the population how he has achieved his promises. He's delivering, and that's what the population want, and that's why the population is supporting him. Things in Argentina, don't misunderstand me, are not completely okay. Prices are high, budget is low,
Sure.
but he's delivering.
So, I mean, that is a 180-degree turn, I guess, from what the country's been dealing with. And, just kind of a little side note, you probably know this, but I think it's, interesting maybe to mention to viewers that there's a saying that goes back about 100 years, and the saying is rich like an Argentine. The country, at the early part of the 1900s was so rich that worldwide people recognized that Argentinians we're very well off because it's such it's so productive agriculturally and mining and etc. And so it's a shame that it has gone through this long period of stagnation. But let's look forward, and it looks very promising, very exciting. That background that you gave is ideal. I think it helps to set the stage for people to look and really understand what Argentinian people have been dealing with for such a long time, and they're ready. It sounds to me like they very much are ready, and let's hope that this continues. It sounds like things are on the right track. This is someone who seems to know what he's doing. He seems to, for the most part, be taking the right steps, and to get the economy and everything back on track. So it's looking very promising. And so let's switch gears a little bit. Now let's start to talk about mining and projects. You're back from a very important conference in Colorado called Beaver Creek. It's actually the Precious Metals Summit. It's a very big conference that's meant for all of the institutional side of mining. And so it sounds to me like you had a very, very busy 3 days or so there. for multiple reasons. I'm not going to steal your thunder. I'll let you tell us all about it, but there's a lot of buzz, and I think it's only going to get more exciting. So why don't you tell us about your new project? Give us an overview and your role in it.
Okay, thank you, Peter. So yeah, it's true that it's been a really nice week at Beaver Creek. The conference was great. We saw lots of positive feeling from different investors. I would say that from most of the investors that we were talking, this new project, it's the first pure silver project that we are bringing here into the group, that the group is getting and putting together. And this is going to be first Frank Justra silver company, which is not minor. Frank has been looking for silver assets since many, many years to create a company. And finally, we found this pure silver project that it's located in the north of Argentina, in the province of Salta, which was voted the first jurisdiction for mining by the Fraser Institute in Latin America. So this is a very, very important thing. The project actually has a 50 million ounces of silver, from which 45 million ounces are in the indicated category. The grade of those are at 482 grams per ton, which makes it very, very rich for a resource. There is very upside potential in the project. The vein, it's open in some parts. There is not only that potential for this project. This project also is located in a very well-known mining district. It's the same structural corridor where the Chuquicamata mine, it's in Chile. And over this structural corridor is where you have some major areas with mineralization. In the El Quevar district, which is the name of the project, we also have evidences of copper porphyry and high epithermal sulfidation gold systems. So the previous companies, they focus on silver because it's, let's say, the most obvious mineralization in place, but there are evidences of some more things. So the potential for the area is huge. The potential of expanding resources and adding new ounces to the project is huge. And I want to mention very quickly, Peter, that it's very important in this kind of projects that the project has a camp that it's ready to use. Beds are ready to use tonight. It's 100 people camp ready to use. The previous company had built a 1.2 kilometer underground exploration decline. It has all infrastructure in place, core logging areas, all the core, it's in place. It has roads all over the place, and outside of the proper or the particular infrastructure of the project, we have an international road. There is a town at 4 kilometers that it's used to the project. We have an international gas pipeline running right in front of the project, as well as a power grid line. So we have excellent infrastructure for a location like this. And yeah, the project has lots of upside potential for sure.
Okay. Well, that's a great overview. Did you mention the name? I'm wondering if you said is El Quevar, I think, right?
Yeah, the project is called El Quevar. We
Right.
are completing this acquisition from Golden Minerals, and the acquisition has been for the total of the acquisition, we have paid $3.5 million American dollars, and that is translated about 8 cents in the ground per ounce, which is a very, very good thing for us. It's a beauty of a deal what we are doing here, and there's lots of potential for sure
So
for this.
speaking of potential, can you maybe kind of sum up a little bit? Tell us what the next steps are and what, I mean, I realize you can probably only go so far in terms of, making predictions on upside in terms of, let's say, the number of ounces and whatever, but maybe give us an overview of the next steps? Can people invest in this project yet? How is this working, and really what's coming over the next several maybe months in terms of this project?
Okay, so based on your previous question, I was talking only about the Argentine project, but this is
Okay.
not about Argentina, and this is not about El Quevar. This is a much bigger vision. So Frank Justra's vision here is to create a silver company that will be focused in Latin America. At this moment, we are assessing other opportunities in the continent, and this is going to be something that it's not going to be only in Argentina, it's going to be probably in other jurisdictions. We are looking to create something very, very big here. In terms of El Quevar, and coming back to the Argentine project, the logic steps for us now are going to be, it's going to be split in two phases. Phase one, which will include plenty of scoping studies, or the reinterpretation of the information that we are getting from the previous owner. We have plenty of information to reinterpret. It's over 100,000 meters of drilling what we are having in our heritage now, plus lots of geophysical information. So we will work with that. That's going to be phase one, and phase two will be drilling very strategically the deposit where we have the resource today, trying to expand a bit more the resource. And on top of that, we will obviously won't leave aside all the other exploration potential that I was mentioning from the project. The previous owner has been drilling some other targets, and these targets, they need to be followed up. So we will have that in consideration for sure.
Excellent. And so can people invest if they want to, sort of follow this? How can they, or how should they follow it to see how it progresses, and to maybe, eventually get involved if they're interested?
Okay, so the company today, the acquisition, it's been done under the name of Butte Energy Inc. So the ticker of Butte is BEN.H. Probably we can put that in the comments later, but that's the ticker of the company. You should be following the next steps that we are taking. As soon as the acquisition it's completed, we will be trading, and there will be obviously a change of name. We expect all this to be happening in between the first or the second week of October. For sure, be trading by November. So I would suggest that your audience should stay tuned on. This is big, and yeah, we will come out with many other news for sure in the future.
Excellent. Very exciting. I think that, it's never long enough, but we certainly have given, I think, viewers a good overview of what you're working on, what's coming, what could also eventually be coming. It certainly is exciting. I'm glad to have had the chance to talk with you about it. So you've given us an idea of how we can follow this and follow the progress. I have a strong feeling we're going to be talking about this again before too long. So maybe, viewers can stay tuned here at the Patered podcast so they get a follow up on the progress. Yeah, I mean, if you have a couple of words that you would like to leave us with about this, either this project or the company, and we can wrap up from there, and yeah, just give an overview.
Yeah, Peter, I think that this is going to be redundant to mention to your audience, but the silver followers out there, you know that silver, it's a crossing some roofs that were before the ceiling. Now we are in another side on price. We have already crossed the $30. So gold was showing again the highest prices ever. So I think that it's a very excitement time for everybody here. If the gap or the relation in between gold and silver start to close, that's what everybody's forecasting, and that's what we are watching is happening. It's going to be amazing. This is a story that definitely everybody should be following up. And I think that you have very, very few chances in life to see people like Frank Justra to invest and to be so motivated in projects like this one as the Latin American New Silver Force that we are building here. So, well,
Excellent.
again, thank you very much for having me here, Peter.
Not at all. I mean, it's a pleasure, and I just want to thank you for your time. I'm certainly going to follow all of this very closely, looking forward to it, and I'm excited too about, what the future looks like with this, and as you say, with the company, the leadership, and new projects to come. So, Joaquin, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it, and looking forward to chatting again very soon.
I hope so. I hope so, for sure. Thank you.
You bet. Cheers.